Doug. You know, for the longest time I managed to avoid you. For the longest time you've kept your foolishness in this area to comments. For the longest time you just been behaving yourself, and then you go stepping on my turf. You know, I don't care who this was an issued challenge to. I don't care if you're going to try to claim that this was for XAM and not me, who, by the way, is still making a response to you. There's something called Real Life Doug, and he has one. No, no, see, you managed to just stay out of it for so long. Now you just step right back into my turf, so I gotta step in. Okay. In regards to your foolishness, well, let's start from the beginning. Funimation's in-house dub, you say, was absolute crap, and it was. I'm not gonna lie. By most dub standards, especially now, it's crap. For back then, though, it actually wasn't that bad. We didn't have too many good dubs back then. People really didn't record anime with a whole lot of seriousness or respect. It was also a sort of a new thing. It was strange having to actually record your voice to actually match pre-existing mouth movements. It was a difficult thing to do back then. People didn't have a whole lot of experience doing it. Nowadays, you record the voice and they animate to match it. But again, this is a case of a company who had the last team of voice actors who you seem to revere basically say, give us more cash for doing this or we're scramming, even though they were still hurting financially from the fact that their series had been canceled on two networks. The only reason they managed to get kept on Cartoon Network is because of, well, it was cable. So not as much restriction as regular network television, meaning they didn't have to censor as much, meaning that, it wasn't ridiculously butchered beyond belief. However, Ocean was still notorious for actually cutting out certain scenes and pasting them back together their own way. They recut footage frequently. That being said, they said, give us more money. Funimation says, no, we can't afford it. They up and quit. Their partnership dissolved. What are they going to do? They got a contract. They got this show ordered for X amount of seasons. They can't just ditch it. So they had to literally go into the next room and start pulling people in and say, okay, you're going to record this. They put out a bit of a casting call for some roles. Some freelance voice actors came in. It's how they got Sunny Straight. It's how they got Sean Schemmel. It's how they got a few of these people. And they began recording their own dub. The reason Chris Sabat had to record so many roles, by the way, is simply because they couldn't afford to hire anyone else. So Sabat was actually doing multiple roles for significantly less pay than someone who was doing multiple roles normally would get. Um, on top of that, they had to rush. They were being rushed by a producer who was working very closely with Cartoon Network to meet their demands and quality control to produce 5 episodes worth of show per week. So yes, they were rushed. They don't have all the time in the world like people like to assume. They were being told 5 episodes per week while they were brand new episodes. It wasn't reruns that they started doing 5 per week. It was new episodes, 5 per week. The voice actors have even said they were told they had, maybe 3 takes to do one line, and then they just have to go with whichever one was the best. So, yeah, they were getting rushed. A lot of them were new. This was a new thing for them. And so it was clumsy at first. And here's the funny thing, the voices that you're so seriously criticizing here, um, the reason they sounded that way when they first started is because they were trying to copy the people that you seem to think were so much better. And managed to sound actually fairly close. So that actually kind of reflects on the Ocean dub on it. Speaking of which, seeing as Vegeta was practically hissing his lines half the time, and Piccolo sounded quite literally like a stereotypical superhero, and in fact, um, Scott McNeil actually literally used his Piccolo voice to play Wolverine, which is not Piccolo's personality either. You're kind of caught in your own double standard there, pal. That being said, yes, their in-house dub was subpar by most standards, but considering that it was an in-house dub with people who normally would not have been voice actors or who had little experience, it actually turned out decent for what it is. That being said, no, it's not satisfactory. Yes, there were lines done that were dumbed down. There were lines dumbed down in the Ocean dub too. Or do you forget the "Just wait till it goes back" screams by Tien, the "Your father was a brilliant scientist" by Vegeta, the "Oh wait, I can see their parachutes," the "Oh my God, you're the one who killed my grandpa." Goku screams at Vegeta. There were errors, there were dumbed down lines. So yeah, it always existed, and it was the requests of the networks. See, the network had control then. This was a show that was specifically being dubbed for TV. It wasn't being pitched to TV. It was dubbed for TV. Hence why even in the uncut, the only thing they did was restore blood. There was actually, in fact, the only time you ever actually get any swearing in the uncut is in the early seasons that they redubbed for that very reason. Um, Now, continuing onward, or the occasional restored scene, I should say, that they didn't have in there before. Um, Now, continuing onward, moving on to Dragon Ball Kai. Wow. Okay, first of all, I do want to say, you actually, I should go back real quick. You said the Faulkner music was crap, and why couldn't they do the original music like the Ocean or the Japanese stuff? Ocean not only used their own music and sound effects, they also added cartoony sound effects such as, well, the most notable example is Raccoon. Punches at Goku, misses, you actually hear the boink, boink, boink as he bounces. When he gets elbowed in the stomach, you actually hear the slide whistle as he falls. It's hardly as perfect as the Japanese, as you and many other Ocean fans like to imply. Now, moving on to Dragon Ball Kai. Um, I'm not sure how a dub makes you realize even the Japanese version sucks, but whatever. That said, yes, the dialogue is better. The voice acting is actually 10 times better. The actors that they replaced because they had to. So whether you thought they were good or not, they had to get replaced. They had to. They weren't coming back. Um, in many cases, they said they didn't want to come back. In the case of Meredith McCoy, she was actually in a bit of a singing career now. Um, so yeah, they couldn't come back. So they had to replace them. And when they replaced them, they went for the closest they could get to the Japanese voice actors and the way that they portrayed the characters. Um, Now, in the case of Linda Young, they were actually trying to keep her as Frieza, and I mean trying, but they couldn't. Linda Young, they actually had to let go simply because she literally could not do the voice anymore without it hurting her. Trying to do these new lines, trying to record the dialogue in that same voice was hurting her throat, causing her physical pain. So they had to let her go. Um, and frankly, the new voice actor is doing a much better, much more convincing job as Frieza than she did. Respect to her for what she managed to do, especially considering the fact that she was literally brought in because she was the mother of John Bergmeyer, who plays Tien and who did the script writing. But she's just, there were problems with her portrayal. It was too comical. It was too gruff and unintelligent sounding. It was, you didn't buy for a second that the guy was actually an emperor if for any other reason than, oh my gosh, he might beat me up if I don't do what he says. Seemed less like a capable ruler and more like a bully, which is not Frieza. So there's that. Chris Ayers manages to do that leaps and bounds better than she did. I'm sorry, he does. Gohan actually sounds like the proper age now, the proper personality now. Android 18, same for her. She's not supposed to sound like some sort of hard, cold, detached 30-year-old woman. She's a girl. She's young. She should sound young. Yeah. But, wow. What really, really gets me about your claim, by the way, they are using the original Japanese music now, is how somehow, because of the version you watched on TV, this is what you conveniently leave out of your video. You watched the Toonzai version, also known as the 4Kids version. You really don't think they're going to do their own edits? You really think that that's actually the final product? I'm sorry, nobody's that foolish. Nobody's that stupid. When you take a look at shows that, oh god, even the Nicktoons version, I mean, for crying out loud, you're actually still seeing arms getting broken. You're still seeing people get shot. You're still seeing, I mean, seriously. Nicktoons has shown a heck of a lot more on their Dragon Ball Z Kai broadcast than they've even shown in their other shows. That's impressive. It's also why they stick it on so late at night. It's 7 o'clock my time, but 8 o'clock Eastern. It's later in the night for that very reason. And the uncut, don't even get me started on the uncut. The uncut is 100 times more intense than that old dub ever was, both in terms of performance, in terms of intensity of the fights, because there's no filler breaking it up every 5 seconds, in terms of language used. I mean, okay, you know what? I'll tell you what. There's a video out called "That Damn Valentine's Day Special" that I'm a Vegeta made. Look that up. It's like 6 minutes of nothing but swearing from only the first 3 volumes of Kai. And yeah, there's more in there than there ever was in Z. And it's used appropriately too. Um, it's just an all-around more intense show. And they say that, oh my god, because Raditz isn't, puking of 30 gallons of blood when he gets shot through, that means that it's censored. No. No. It's not fully censored. He's still got blood coming out of his mouth. In fact, if you actually read the manga, there's only about as much blood as was in the manga as in Kai now. They added blood in that anime scene. They did. In fact, there are other places where the anime actually censors things that were in the manga, such as Gohan with the Cell Juniors. Not even close. No comparison. None. And yeah, the Toonzai version though is the most sanitized, censored, meant for 5-year-olds version that there is. If you want to see even a good edited for TV version, then look at the Nicktoons version. There are clips of it on YouTube. You can see it plain as day. Look for it uncut too. I mean, I've seen, there are clips of, fights from the series. XAM's video, which you so stupidly criticized, even shows that there's still blood in this series. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by it's so censored beyond belief. I don't get that. And, wow. Oh, God. I am just not understanding what the heck your complaint there is, or why you're just too stubborn to do any research, but, well, there it is. Yeah, if there's anything I'm forgetting, it'll probably show up in the comments somewhere. I really don't care at this point. The fact of the matter is, though, Doug, the reason that people take so long to get back to you is because, number one, they have lives. They have school, they have work, they have friends, they have other stuff they want to do. And number two, your stuff is just so brain-numbingly stupid that people don't want to rush to respond to it. I mean, I don't even know what the heck you're trying to do here. You're not backing up any of your claims whatsoever. You got nothing to support your claim at all. It's just, thrown out there. What's your support? What are you basing this on? I mean, you complain that it's not 100% based on the manga. No crap, it's not 100% based on the manga. They had to leave some stuff in, yes, for pacing purposes. There's some stuff that's going to look different animated than it is in a panel. There's some stuff that is going to have to be changed in a translation from a comic to a motion series. That being said, it is much closer to the manga. It is much more faithful to the manga. It is the way that Akira Toriyama had originally hoped it would be done. And it's amazing for that. You can actually follow the story very easy now. you can actually understand the characters a lot better without the network stepping in and saying, "Oh, I don't like this. This is making him too dark. Change this." You know, you don't have to worry about crap like that because they're dubbing it on their own. They were dubbing it before they started handing it over to the network, so they were able to do it at their own pace. They were able to take their time, get their lines right, get their performances right, and they've done an amazing job with it. And in fact, I can't. There are websites that have even actually said there are other anime that need this same treatment. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was indeed the same thing. They took the series and they redid it to make it like the manga. Um, and as for your claim that all they did was take the old series and scratch it, Doug, they took the old series because, first of all, it's out of respect for the animation team. This is a series that has existed for 20 years. Their work has been known for 20 years. To sit there and just completely throw it away and replace it with new look and animation would be massively disrespectful to the people who worked on it, some of whom are dead now. It's called respect. They changed as little as they could. And they then took places where the film was either damaged or where they had to remove filler, and they added new animation to fill in the gaps. They tried to keep it, though, as close as they could, animation-wise, to the old series, out of respect for the people who animated that. See, the thing about the Japanese is that even though they felt they needed this new thing, they had respect for the other people who had worked on it and the effort that they'd put into it. And so, to honor that, they kept it. Same thing with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, except what you don't realize is that the same animation company that worked on that worked on this. It was within the same, pretty much the same decade, too. I mean, it's, most of the same people are still there. So, yeah, it's really not disrespectful to do a new series. Now, to sit there and try and do a new series from scratch in honor of the 20th anniversary of Dragon Ball would, that would have taken a crap load of time, a crap load of money. And really, not only was it easier and cheaper to do, yes, that's one reason they did it, but yes, it was done out of respect. Um, it's really not that hard to follow. It's actually not offensive in any way, shape, or form. And then doing a brand new series is, I'm not sure what you mean a brand new series. It would be literally the same series, just without filler, which is what this is. See, the thing about Dragon Ball Z is that where there are some serious inconsistencies with the manga, yes, they did essentially follow the basic point of it, unlike what happened with Full Metal Alchemist, where they seriously veered off at one point. Same thing they did with Soul Eater, which is another series that has actually been suggested to get the same treatment once the manga is done or further along. Um, Doug. I tell you what, Doug, since you're so eager to throw out challenges, I have one for you. I'm not going to say it on here. If you really want to know what it is, you know where to find me. You know how to ask. But let's see if you have the remote guts to take it. I really doubt you do. Wow. Anyways, I had to get that out. His video is gonna be down there. It's just painfully stupid to hear. Check it out. See ya.